Hi, this is Len Furman, the sports time traveler, with another exciting baseball story from precisely 100 years ago. This one is titled Walter Johnson's Gem. Subtitle: The 1924 Washington Senators are in the thick of their first ever pennant race. Griffith Stadium, Washington, D.C., August 26, 1924. The excitement level has reached a new peak for the Washington Senators fans. Going into the home game against the St. Louis Browns, in which Walter Johnson would be on the mound, the Senators were tied for first place in the American League. This was a position they had never before held this late in the season. Unfortunately, because it was a Monday afternoon with threatening skies, only 7,000 fans were in the ballpark, and the big train, Johnson, was facing a formidable St. Louis lineup. While the Browns were only a fourth place team, their hitters are a fearsome bunch. 6 of their first 7 batters are hitting over 300. The only one in that bunch under 300 is the best of them all, George Sisler. Sisler is also the Browns manager. Hitting wise, all George Sisler has done is hit over 400 in 2 of the past 4 seasons. Last year, Sisler missed the entire 1923 season due to illness. He's just hitting his stride again now as he's batting nearly .320 in the month of August. But despite the prodigious hitting skills of the Browns, Johnson blew through the Browns' batting order in the opening 3 innings, allowing just a walk to Gene Robertson. In the bottom of the 3rd, Johnson led off against Browns pitcher Dixie Davis and slashed a single to left field. Then, 36-year-old Walter Johnson dashed to second base on a passed ball. After Sam Rice singled and Goose Goslin walked, the Senators had the bases loaded, with Barney, as Washington newspapers affectionately call Johnson, standing on the bag at third base. Walter Johnson then scored when Joe Judge walked. This gave the Senators a 1-0 lead. Back on the mound, Barney blew through the Browns lineup a second time. He pitched perfect ball in the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings. In the top of the 7th, Johnson gave up a walk to Ken Williams, and that was it. In the bottom of the 7th, the Senators got another run when Goose Goslin tripled home rookie center fielder Earl McNeely. McNeely, who was purchased from Sacramento in the Pacific Coast League just 3 weeks ago, is now batting .367 in his first 14 games in the major leagues. And then the game was called due to rain. The Senators had won it 2-0, and Walter the Big Train Johnson had pitched a no-hit game. Johnson had also put the Senators back in sole possession of first place in the American League for the first time since July 9th. And what a spectacular way to do it, with Barney pitching a no-hit game, which was also his 6th shutout of the season and his major league career-leading 107th shutout. Walter Johnson now has a record of 17-6 on the season with an ERA of just 2.69. It's easily his best season of the decade. By the way, Johnson is also batting .284. I always like to see the box score of a no-hitter and see the array of zeros in the hits column. In the written version of the Substack article, I have a picture of the box score as it appeared in the Washington Evening Star. Note from the Sports Time Traveler. Walter Johnson's 7-inning no-hit game on August 25th, 1924, does not count as a no-hitter in official baseball records because the game did not go a full 9 innings. But Washington, D.C. area papers and other newspapers around the country celebrated it as a no-hitter at the time. The outpouring of adulations for this grand old man of baseball were breathtaking. Let's go back to 1924 to take a quick virtual trip around America on the morning of August 26, 1924, to see how newspapers celebrated Johnson's no-hitter. And in the written version of the Substack article, I have pictures first from the Yonkers Statesman, which had a big picture of Johnson on the front page of the sports section with the caption, "Walter Johnson hurls no-hit game in 7-inning contest." The Raleigh News and Observer had a banner headline in the sports section, "Walter Johnson hurls a no-hit game against St. Louis." The Des Moines Evening Tribune had a similar banner headline in their sports section, "Walter Johnson hurls his second no-hit contest." Johnson had pitched his first no-hitter back in 1920. And the Los Angeles Daily News had an amusing piece. The headline was, "Walter Johnson twirls second no-hit battle." I'd like to read this to you. Walter Johnson, the prehistoric gent who taught Cain the snakeball twist for the rock that killed Abel, took his turn in the box for the Washington Senators again today and pitched a masterpiece, holding the St. Louis Browns hitless, runless, and helpless for 7 innings. This achievement was Johnson's second no-hit, no-run game. And Sam Harrison of the Tampa Tribune wrote a great piece about Walter Johnson, sharing the sentiment of many in America towards this beloved man who has been in the American League since 1907, longer than any other pitcher. The Washington team is probably the most popular contender for the pennant that the game has ever known, and the main reason why fans from the Atlantic to the Pacific are pulling for the Senators is that they want to see Walter wind up his brilliant career as the pitching ace of all time, as the hero of a World's Series. His record is unique, as he has spent his entire time with one team, the Senators. As that team has never won a pennant, his admirers have not had the opportunity of seeing him on the mound in the baseball classic of the world. And here was the banner headline in the Washington News Evening Edition that came out just after the game ended on Monday. I have this picture in the Substack article, and I love what they do here. On the top of the first page of the paper, they have the line score that shows St. Louis with no runs and no hits. And the headline in the newspaper is, "Walter Johnson holds Browns hitless through 7 innings." The Senators' hold on first place, however, lasted just a couple of hours. Later in that same afternoon, on Monday, August 25th, 1924, the Yankees beat the Cleveland Indians at Yankee Stadium 8-3 to take back the lead by percentage points, really just 1 percentage point over the Senators. In the standings, the teams were tied in terms of games back, but the Yankees had a .575 winning percentage versus .574 for the Senators. And in the Substack article, I have a picture of the baseball standings in the American League as they appeared after the games of August 25th, 1924. The Yankees, in that 8-3 win, were led by Babe Ruth, who had a single, a double, and an inside-the-park home run, his 40th home run of the season. His 3 hits raised his batting average to .393 on the year, leading the American League by over 40 points. Here is an account of Ruth's 5th-inning home run as reported in the New York Daily News by Jack Kirkland. With Ruth at bat, the 5,000 unquenchables pleaded for a homer. The Babe responded with a blow to center field, which landed just to the right of the flagpole and made Speaker do a Charlie Paddock in trying to retrieve the ball, but the Babe came in standing up. Speaker, referenced in the article, was Tris Speaker, the Hall of Fame center fielder for the Cleveland Indians, who was also the manager of that club. The Charlie Paddock reference is to the American sprinter, winner of the gold medal in the 100-meter dash at the 1920 Olympics, and who had just returned home a month before from the 1924 Paris Olympics. Ruth's home run must have been hit almost 500 feet and yet did not go over a fence. The original dimensions of Yankee Stadium had the center field fence at 490 feet, and the flagpole was just inside the fence. Here's another account of Root's home run that was in the Brooklyn Daily Eagle. It's in a small article that was titled, Babe Ruth's 40th was inside the park. Babe Ruth's 40th home run of the season yesterday was a mighty clout, but it was of the type that the great Bambino seldom makes. It was an inside home run to the flagpole in deep center field, just far enough out to enable the Yankee big gun and his aldermanic paunch to negotiate the distance around the sacks. The wallop, which came with jumping Joe Dugan straining the leash at third base, materially aided the Yanks to smother the Cleveland Indians. And finally, I have a picture of Yankee Stadium from approximately 1924, where you can see the cavernous outfield and the flagpole in the playing area in dead center field. That's all for today. Thanks for listening, and please share the Sports Time Traveler.